In this example, we're being asked to find the average value of this given equation right here on this interval. Average value is an integral setup. It's one of those integral formulas that if you know it, this is a pretty straightforward problem. If you don't know it, you're probably not going to guess it in the middle of a test. The average value formula looks like 1 over b minus a times the integral from a to b of whatever that equation is, dx. So for us, we would come through and sort of set this thing up. They're giving us this equation to work with, so that's our f of x. So we would go integral. We've got our bounds here. This would be our a, and that would be our b. So the integral from 1 to 5 of the cosine of x over x squared plus 2x minus 2 dx. And then we would multiply that by 1 over b minus a. So b is 5 and a is 1. So you look at this integral and you're like, oh man, I am not sure how I would ever take that antiderivative there. Definitely not a u substitution and definitely not something I should just know how to do. Luckily, right, we've got, this is a calculator required section, so we can handle this in our calculator. What I would do right now is step one of the process is I would take and I would plug this equation into y1 on my calculator. So I would do cosine of x over x squared plus 2x minus 2. And then from there, I would graph that equation. And then we would do a second, and then we would go into that calc menu and choose the number 6 option, the number 7 option, which is the integral of f of x dx. From there, it'll ask us a series of questions and we'll answer them. It's going to ask for the lower bound and the upper bound, and then it'll give us our answer. So that's going to give us the first part of what we need. It's going to give us the answer to this piece. And then from there, what you will do is you're just going to go back to the normal screen on your calculator, the home screen, and you're going to go ahead and just hit the answer button, and then we'll do times our little fraction right here, 1 over 5 minus 1, so times 1/4. So we'll take that integral answer, we'll multiply it by 1/4, and then out of there, that's going to give us the answer to this whole problem. So let's go ahead and open up our calculator. And then from there, we'll just go ahead and start by going through the process. We're going to hit y equals, and we're going to type this equation in exactly how it looks. One of the first things you want to know how to do on a problem like this is really understand how to get your calculator to give you a little fraction bar to work with. So our calculators will actually go ahead and set us up with a little dotted box divided by another dotted box if we do it. So this, to have that happen, you're going to hit the alpha button, and then you're going to hit that button right next to it, that x, t, n, theta button. And that's going to give us a little fraction bar to work with. And what that does is it just saves us from having to do a whole bunch of parentheses that you would normally have to do when you're typing a fraction into your calculator. So knowing how to type in a fraction, getting that fraction bar set up is going to be huge for us. So we're in our y equals, hit that top left button, and then we need a fraction. And so to get a fraction, I'm going to hit the alpha button and then the button right next to it, that x, t, theta, n button. And you can see that it splits it up into a fraction for me. And so from there, I can go ahead and type in the cosine of x. We're in radian mode. We want to be in radian mode for this whole test. We don't ever use degree mode on the AP Calc test. And now you can first off see how easy it was for me to just type in a fraction without having any extra parentheses. Now I'll go to step 2. I'm going to hit the graph button. And now from there, I'm going to hit the second button in the top left corner, choose that calc menu, the button above trace at the very top, and then we're going to scroll down to that number 7 option, integral of f of x dx. We hit enter, and then it starts asking us a series of 3 questions at the bottom of the screen. The first thing it wants to know is our lower limit. That's our lower bound. So our lower bound on this integral is 1. I type in 1 and then hit enter. It then asks me for an upper bound or an upper limit, and our upper limit on this one would be 5, so I type in 5 and hit enter. It does all the work, and you can see at the bottom of the screen there, it says integral of f of x dx equals negative 0.066073. You could write that down if you wanted to, but one of the cool things is right now what your calculator has stored in it as the answer is that integral answer. And so what we need to do is we need to take that answer, right? We need to take what we got for this section and multiply it by 1/4 to get our actual average value. So to do that, we can just get out of this screen. I hit second and then the quit button, which is right next to it. And now I'm back on the home screen. And so I can just hit times. And when I hit the multiplication button, it's going to grab that answer and it's going to multiply it by whatever I want. So I'm going to multiply it by 1/4 here. I hit enter, and that's going to give me my final answer. So I'm looking at negative 0.0165. The AP Calc test usually wants you to round everything to 3 decimals, so our answer on this would be negative 0.017. So out of here, we get an answer of negative 0.017. That would be option C in this situation. So again, the big deal on this was remembering the average value formula, that integral formula that you just have to have memorized. And if you know that, then the rest of this becomes pretty straightforward because we're on a calculator required section and the calculator does all the heavy lifting for us. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please click that like button and subscribe. And also share it with your friends and anyone else you know who might be crying about an upcoming AP Calc test. You can find more videos from me, more sample AP Calc questions, and my complete AP Calc study guide over at my website, apcalcprep.com. Have a great one.